I think we're live, and welcome to Let's Talk Shop with Russ. We're having a good time just before the show was on, and if I sound nasally and a little hoarse, that's because I am nasally and a little hoarse. My sinuses are giving me a fit lately, and I'm on medication and everything else, and it's like it still doesn't seem to put a dent in it. So, but welcome to the show tonight. And we were just talking before the show as far as when we have kind of like a scheduled show, that's really great. But when we have this in not really planned shows, how they turn out so great. So I invited a friend of mine who is a really close friend of mine. And I always say really close. This guy means the world to me. To be on the show tonight, and he's recently retired, and he's starting to he's Steve Good, and he's always had his scroll saw woodshop.blogspot.com, and I just wanted to touch base with him tonight about since you've retired, what's changed? Has it, you're retired now, you don't have to work anymore, so you're able to grow your blogspot even better or even more. And so that's one of the things I wanted to do. And then also I wanted to and it's still not late. Any of you out there that are in the chat and watching this tonight, if you want to show off your pics tonight on the show, I will be pulling up to the last minute on the show. Send it to contest at simplywoodencreations.com. And then what did I put on there? Just send it to contest at simplywoodencreations.com, and I'll get the last emails. And I'll pull them up and show your pics that you were working, the projects you were working on, and we'll talk about them all during the night. We'll talk about them, we'll spread this out. This is kind of an propped show tonight.
Impromptu.
Yeah, there you go. Thank you very much. And see how they correct me? They all correct me up. So it's just one of those shows that now I will tell you this much. On October 6th, we have Wood Brew coming on. They're a young couple that have got into woodworking, do a lot of really great stuff. They said they're going to come on the show on October 6th. And I've got a few other things that are planned here in the near future. So and just to let this know out, my brother's been in the hospital. He's not doing very good, so that's consumed a lot of time this week. He has cancer. He's been in remission. They had to put him back in the hospital and do some more surgery. He's not one of those, and I know most of y'all say, like, a lot of times I post this stuff out on Facebook. He don't really like me to post things or say things about, and so he's kind of a private person. But I just kind of like to let the cat out of the bag by saying this tonight. But if you wouldn't mind saying a little prayer for my brother, he's not doing very good. He's had colon cancer. He's went back in. This is his second surgery, and I'll let it go at that. But he's just not doing very well. But let's go out there and say thank you for being on here for Dickinson Hoffman, Michelle Marcoux, Dennis Godson, Jimbo, which is James, Sterling Davis. Whoa, Sterling, if you want on the panel, dude, let one of these guys, Al or Paul, or one of these guys on the on there. You can come on the panel if you want. I'd love to have you on the panel.
I'll send you a link.
Yeah. Zara King, Aussie Man, Ken McCrory, all you guys are out there in the chat, and thank you so very much for being out there. Send it. Sterling just popped up and said, send it. I'll try. So anyway, so tonight is kind of like we're going to talk to Steve Good. He's retired. I want to find out what he's been doing, and him and I have talked, so I know what he's been doing. And he can't give me any. If he whatever he tells you, I'm going to tell you if he's telling the truth or not, because I know he's talked to me before. So, but let me go ahead and give you information on my. And one reason I think I'm out of this tonight is because my sinuses are like killing me. I mean, it's hard for me to even breathe out my nose. Matter of fact, I'm not even breathing out my nose tonight. I'm breathing out my mouth. But anyway, Devobal Technologies for web design, development, hosting. Visit devobal.com. FastCap, innovative products for the professional woodworkers. Go to fastcap.com. Rockler, 60 years in woodworking. Create with confidence. Visit rockler.com. Bearwood Supply Company, your best choice for hard to find woodworking supplies. Go to bearwood.com, and Klingspor, the sanding specialist, woodworkingshop.com. And then last but not least, the Seiko, the scroll saw specialist, seiko.com. They have given me that ST21. That is a fantastic, absolutely fantastic scroll saw. If you need a scroll saw and you want one that is really, really excellent, go to Seiko. I mean, I have never been more impressed in all my life about a scroll saw. When I got that, when I started using it, and I used to use, and don't get me wrong, the old DeWalt DW788 was a great scroll saw. It lasted me for years, but I saw a big difference when I changed over and started using the ST21. It really made a believer out of me that there's a lot of difference in the types and of scroll saws. So that being said, let's go down the list and tell everybody who you are and where you come from. Chris.
Hey guys, Chris here from the Old Cranky Workshop. You find me on YouTube and Facebook. And that's about it, because the rest of the social media world is just too daunting, time consuming for me to control. So that's what you find me.
John. Don't look at me like with that.
Yeah, I'm here. You can find me, well, actually, I'm right here in my bedroom. You can find me on Facebook under my name and YouTube under my name. And that's about it, because the rest of the internet has banned me.
Great. You know, John, you were probably one of the original people that was ever on my show. And I bring that up just because the fact that we've known each other, what, 3, 4, 5 years?
4 years or so, yeah.
Yeah, about 4 years or so. So,
yeah, I hung with you. I don't know why, but just kind of common, because I guess twin brothers and different mothers.
That I appreciate our friendship so very, very much, and thank you that you've hung with me all these years.
Well, thank you for inviting me the first time, and for some reason, I don't know what it is. I just enjoy your friendship. I enjoy your brotherhood, and I'm glad to be here every week or whenever I can. Anyway,
so, no problem.
You're a good guy, everybody. Russ is a pretty cool dude.
Yeah, John. Yeah, he disappears every once in a while because he gets sick or whatever, which that's understanding. But he comes back on, and
sometimes when I come back on, I'm upside down, so you got to be careful about that too.
Yeah, that's true. That one night you came back on, you're upside down. So, but and Katie Dotson, she tries to keep me in line, but she can never keep me in line.
You don't know that.
Okay.
I had to come on and tell you what that 3-syllable word is.
Yes, you've done that a few times. So
anyway, I'm Katie. I'm Katie Dawson. I'm on Facebook, and that's kind of it. And I just hang out and bother people.
That's her favorite saying, by the way. She just hangs out and bothers people.
Yeah.
But we love her, and she's here.
And make inappropriate comments.
Well, you're here, and you'll be here. Al.
Howdy. Al Forte, Odessa Woodworking and Maker Shop on YouTube and Kilroy79763 on Twitch. I did some painting on minis today, Russ, and had them 3D printed and stuff. But I'm gonna try to do some of Steve Good's patterns, some enterprise stuff. Imagine that, right? I was gonna try to do it this next Saturday, but I got to change my rack and pinion on my car, and I noticed today that I had one of them bent. So maybe that's what's going to take place next weekend. I thought I was going to cut the Starfleet Enterprise, Steve, but anyway, guys, thank you for letting me be here. It's awesome to see everybody out there, and Mandela's like, anyway, thank you.
You're welcome, Paul.
Hey, Russ. Paul Corliss from Paul's Messy Workshop. Paul's Messy Workshop on YouTube, on Instagram, and it'll be eventually on .com. It kind of is, but not much. And I'm glad you did decide to have a show this week, Russ. It's what I do on Saturday night, and when you mess me up, you mess me up.
Thanks, I appreciate that.
Now, is it next week you get your surgery?
No, it's actually the 1st is my surgery.
The 1st?
Yeah, and I'm planning on the 1st is my hernia. October 1st is my hernia surgery, and I'm planning on, I think within 4 or 5 or 6 days, I'm putting Wood Brew for all y'all that's out there. Wood Brew is planning on being on the 6th of October, I believe it is. Yes. We're going to have Wood Brew, which is a young couple that does a lot of woodworking and really great. I mean, go over there and look, do it on Facebook or YouTube, whatever. Just type in Wood Brew. They're a young couple that has got into woodworking and doing some really great stuff. And I've invited them for October 6th. My surgery is on October 1st, so I think I'll be more than, all I got to do is sit on my fat butt and push a few buttons, so I think that'll be more
That's
than.
what I was just going to say. If you don't feel like it, all you got to do is sit there and look at the camera.
Yep. So I think that'll be good enough. So we'll get them. Wood Brew is scheduled for October 1st, but October 6th, and my surgery is scheduled for October 1st. So
okay,
anyway, good to have you, Paul. Yep, thank you. And Sterling.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Hey, all right. Well, thanks for having me. It's kind of funny and ironic at the same time because I was actually on. I get Steve's email every day. This guy is amazing. He puts out patterns almost every single day. I mean, if he don't put a pattern out, he puts out an apology because he didn't put a pattern out because something went wrong or something happened. And he is so much involved with the community that he don't even know he's that involved with the community. He don't even take the credit for what he does. And I literally, Steve, I just literally printed off your pattern for. I'm fixing to do the little Christmas scene. And I was just flipping through it, and I said, Steve Good's on the show tonight. So, oh, crap, I got to watch this. So I wasn't even going to scroll. I'm just going to watch the show. And one thing I want to say about Steve, he's very humble. He'll help you in any way he can. But one thing you need to do is when you visit his website, the Blogspot, and you print off his patterns, everything's for free. He don't ask for nothing. Drop him a donation. On the bottom of that page is a donation thing. I try to every once in a while when I can. When I have it, I'll try to do it. But drop him a little donation. Show him some love because this cat freaking is amazing for the scroll saw community, newer scroll sawers, people that just love to be, on the scroll saw. Steve, I love you, brother. I appreciate you, and I'm just to think I'm sitting here printing off your pattern, and I'm sitting here getting to talk to you at the same time. That's a cool thing.
I mean, Sterling, you are absolutely right. I met him about 4 or 5 years ago, somewhere in that time frame. when he first started off his blog, or not Blogspot, but his forum that he wanted to do. And he started off a forum where people could go and join the forum and talk about what was going on and have a fellowship with each other and everything for his forum. And I had met him about 30 days prior, before he started the forum. Then he started his forum. And I was like, when he first started his forum, I'm like, wow. I was thinking to myself, he's starting this forum. I wonder if he has any people that wanted to be or could be moderators for his forum, because, you know, as well as I do, when you start a forum, if there are going to be posts out there that, you know, people trying to put porn and all this other kind of crap out there. So I sent him an email introducing myself, and he picked up on it, and he said, he responded back to me, and he said, yes, I'd love to have your help. And boom, he put me as a moderator on his forum. And that was 4 or 5 years ago. And since that time, 4 or 5 years ago, we have become friends. I mean, really close friends over the years. And just as Sterling said, I can't think, you have a lot of people out there in the community that say they do this or say they do that for the community. And I'm not down what they do. But my point is, I can't think of anybody in the scroll saw community that has done anything. And he's sitting here, and I'm not putting air in his balloon. I'm just telling you the truth right off the bat, that has done anything more in the community for scroll saw people to promote scroll saw. He promotes a free pattern, maybe not every week, but 99.9% of the time, it's every week. He promotes a free pattern out there. You don't have to buy it. You don't have to do nothing. All you have to do is go to his site. And I just can't think of anybody that's promoted scroll sawing any more than he has in this community. And so it's very, very happy for me. And he's sitting over there and he's blushing right now. He's red in the face and everything. And to say that he's my friend and introduce what I think is one of the greatest guys on the planet, Mr. Steve Good.
I don't know what to say, Russ. Thank you, man. I did.
Yeah.
Those are kind words that I appreciate a lot, because I tell people this all the time. I get way more out of what I do than I put into it. You think that you're working hard, but when you're having such a good time doing what you're doing, it's not work. Everybody knows that. You know, I had a career before this, and I enjoyed what I did, but I didn't love what I did, you know, and now I love what I do. And that's a difference. So when I'm out there designing patterns, or, you know, making a post or answering emails or whatever I'm doing, I'm just legitimately having a good time. You know, it has nothing to do with anything other than having a good time. And that's what people that I talk to that are looking at retirement, you know, in the not too distant future or soon, I tell them all the time, you know, have a plan on what you're going to do before you retire, because sitting in a recliner is not a plan. You know, you've got to stay busy, and I'm able to stay busy 8, 9, 10 hours a day with no problem. And I think that's what makes what I do so much fun and so humbling, is that I'm actually able to spend my retirement having fun. That's a big deal. So anyway, Russ, I really appreciate you having me on the show, and to you and Sterling and everybody else, I appreciate the kind words there. It does make you humble a little bit when people appreciate what you do, especially when I look at what I do and you guys see it a little bit differently than I see it, because what I do is actually easy, you know? and so, you know, because it's not work, I'm playing. So
well, I totally agree with you. And I have a lot of people that, you know, I get a lot of flack. A lot of people are envious, and they say things kind of like to me about my show or whatever. I won't get into that, other than to say is they don't understand. You know, I'm not into this show for the YouTube money. I'm not into this show that we're doing tonight for the views. I'm not into it, but for any one reason. I am retired like Steve. I love doing this show. I love this panel. I love Chris Ahern, John, Katie, Al, Paul. Sterling's on tonight, and we have Brenda. We have Ken Moon. We have I just name a few that's on this show on Saturday nights that are with me on Saturday nights. I have made so many friends by just doing this show that I could never in a million years replace that friendship or do anything else because of this. So when people kind of like want to make snide remarks or what I'm doing or whatever, that doesn't really hurt my feelings. There's only one reason I'm doing this. I'm having the utmost fun meeting the most people and having the time of my life. So if you want to criticize, if you want to make fun, if you want to make snide remarks, if whatever you want to do, you're pouring water on a duck's back, dude, because it has nothing to do with what the receiving that I am getting. All these people are out here right tonight in the chat. That's the reason I do this.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, we have 81 people watching the show tonight. I mean, that is fantastic.
It's an amazing thing what YouTube and blogs and the internet has done, because you know, I have talked to and been a part of the lives of people in almost every country in the world. Think about that for a second. Yeah, it really is an amazing thing that there's technology out there that lets us do what we're doing. You only have to go back 10 years and that wasn't possible. Absolutely impossible. And, you know, of course I track my stats. I know who's coming from where, what countries and everything. And I do have a few countries that, China, and, you know, for example, I'm not in China. There's a few countries around the world I'm not in, but pretty much every place else I get email from weekly. And that's pretty amazing. That's a lot.
I get emails from Australia, New Zealand, Philippines. You're right. When I pull up these things and the stats, and all these people are watching me, I'm going like, whoa, this is like really hard. But my point back to that is just like you. If you, when you first started this thing, and as you continue to grow this, what you're growing is that you get a lot of negativity, and I'm sure you do over the years. But did that in any way change? Like when I get my negativity, it don't change me because I'm still doing what I'm doing and I keep growing. So does that change anything in the way you do anything or the way you think about things?
I'm not going to lie and tell you it doesn't bother me, because it does. You know, when I get an email from somebody, you know, with not necessarily a negative comment, because a lot of the negatives will be, you know, I didn't like that pattern. Well, that's cool. That I don't mind, because there's a lot of patterns I make I don't like either. You know, it's just when you do a new pattern every day, some of them stink, some of them are good. It's just the nature of it, right? So that doesn't bother me, but I will occasionally get an email that's insulting, and it hurts my feelings. I'm not going to lie, it does. I'm lucky enough to have. Are we still there?
Yeah, we're here.
Oh, everything froze up. I'm lucky enough to have a large enough readership that by far the majority of the emails are positive. And of course, you know, the positive ones, you know, make you feel better. So yeah, the negative comments, they do bother me sometimes. But not to the point where it would ever make me stop, because they're just not that common. Now I do, you may notice that when I do a YouTube video, I disable comments. I got tired real early of listening to that crap. So, and my blog, I want to try to keep family friendly. And if somebody goes to a video on my blog and they go back to YouTube to see it, and they look through the comment section and they see inappropriate stuff, then that, in my mind, that reflects on me. So I just turn it off.
Right.
And, you know, I get some flack over turning it off, but I don't care. So,
well, I've thought about that myself, about turning off the comment. You know, I personally have already disabled. You don't know how many subscribers or anything other thing. My analytics, you don't have no idea what's going on my channel. There's a reason for that. I don't care.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm having fun.
Yeah.
I'm having a blast. I'm having the time of my life. Why do I want to pin myself down on all that, you know, all that other crap? So, and I want to get off the subject real quick. So let's change this whole scenario and go back to you've retired, correct?
Yep. I retired. It's going on 3 years, be 3 years next May. And I'll just quickly tell you the story about my retirement. It was kind of funny. I had worked for Xerox as a technician for 37 years. And I tell people all the time, I had a great job. I worked for a great company. I never worked for a bad manager in 37 years. And I had, I think, 6 or 8 managers, something like that. I never worked with an employee that I didn't like. I mean, we had a great family there at Xerox. But I don't even want to eat ice cream for 37 years. There comes a point when enough is enough. I was ready to leave. And so they offered an early retirement package. I signed up for it. Okay, it's, you know, it's my time. It's time to go. They turned me down. He said, no, we can't give you the package because you're working on service. You're working on equipment that takes too long to train for. We need you to stay. We're not going to let you go. So I went to my financial person and told him this. She said,
whoa, wait 1 second. Yeah. They physically told you that you were worth more to them on the line than you could retire.
And well, not exactly. The training to do what I was doing would take about 1.5 years of training to bring somebody on and train them to do that job.
Okay.
So that's a hard thing to do for any company. So they didn't want me to take this you know, they couldn't stop me from leaving, but they weren't going to offer me the package to incentivize me to leave because they wanted me to stay. You know, it's and nothing wrong with that.
Well, I understand. So they needed somebody to take your place, basically.
Right. Yeah, and it was going to take a long time to get somebody because I was so freaking old. I mean, you know, I had worked on so much stuff that it was just going to be hard for them to do it.
Totally understand that. Okay. Yeah. All right, go on.
Well, anyway, I went to my financial person and she just laughed. She said, you don't need their plan. So I turned in my 2-week notice. So that's how I left. It was, you know, within a matter of 2 weeks, I had went from thinking I was going to work till I was 65 to leaving at 59. So it happened quick. But anyway, nobody cares about that. But the point is I was able to leave and still have plenty to do because I had my blog. Because I can work as many hours on my blog in a day if I want to. I don't do it every day, but I can work that long every day on the blog as I was working full-time at Xerox. So I'm able to stay busy, and that's worth I do earn a reasonable income from the blog. It would be a livable wage. Luckily, I don't need it as a livable wage because I got my retirement, but it would be a livable wage for a frugal, you know, couple to live on. So the money is nice to have. But the main thing for me is it keeps me busy. It keeps me from just sitting in this chair all day long.
Right.
And to me, that's just crucial because my health is not good enough to just sit in a chair. I would wilt away pretty quick.
No, and I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
So in other words, once you made that decision that, you know, I'm going to retire, and that's kind of like what I did in a way, but once you made that decision, you're going to retire, you wanted to make sure that in your retirement, that you were set. In other words, you could take care of yourself, you could take care of your wife, your family, and live reasonably. And then your blog spot and all that other kind of stuff that came in on top of it was a supplement to it, but made everything like better.
Yeah. It allows me when the dishwasher goes bad or the refrigerator dies or the car needs work, you know, it allows me to have the extra funds there to not be overly concerned about it. So I'm really fortunate in that regard. So the income part of working on a blog or running a blog, understand that it took me 11 years to get it there. You know, I started in 2007. Well, 2007, 2008, 2009, 2010, I wasn't making enough to even pay for the supplies I was buying to keep the blog running. You know, it takes forever to build up a big enough viewership and a big enough sponsorship to be able to make enough money.
So basically, your blog's 11 years old.
Yeah, right. And it has taken, well, for the last probably 5 years, the income off of it's been substantial. Before that, it was just like, you know, you're just doing it for the fun of it. So if you start something like this, you got to know that, you know, unless you're something special, which most of us aren't, unless you're something special, you're going to have to work really hard for a long period of time to get it to the point, you know, to where you could even consider running it as a full-time business. Now, there's people out there that can do it. You know, if you look at April Wilkerson and some of these young people that are just so talented at what they do, April's a great example, because I can remember the first video she put up. I knew instantly that she was eventually going to do this full-time because she was bright. Her personality was good. You know, everything about it was just set for, she was a YouTuber. So yeah, there's people out there that can do that. But by far the majority of people, you know, it's going to take years to build it up.
Right.
So,
No, I agree. And I'm not that talented yet, so to speak, that I can build an empire to live off of like you have, so to speak. But,
well, I think the key to what Steve has done and what I've seen over the 6-7 years I've known Steve is consistency.
Yeah,
he is consistently doing it. He's building it up by being consistent.
Yeah,
and that's, I mean, I download patterns I don't even print, simply because it's Steve Good and he sends this out, and you know, and I'm not trying to build him up.
I think it's called hoarding, by the way.
Yeah, well, I mean, it might be something that I want to go back to later down the road, but you know, it's more respect, really. Honestly, it's a respect, because the consistency he puts into it, God bless him for being successful with it. I think it's great.
That is the key. It's the everyday. In 11 years of doing the blog, I've averaged a blog post every 1.7 days.
That's insane.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what has made my blog, whatever success it has, that's what's made it a success, because there's nobody out there that does what I do that often. Now, the negative side of that is you can overdo it too. And that's why you will get comments from time to time as this pattern really isn't very good. And I look and I go, you know, I just put a pattern out to put a pattern out. That's not a good idea. So you have to be careful that you're not just, you know, you see some of these YouTubers that are pretty famous and making decent money. You can tell when you're watching their material that they're starting to make videos just for the sake of getting their view count up and to have a new video out. And you gotta not do that. You have to be legitimate in that you're posting something that has some value. And that's something I struggle with all the time. You know, is this pattern valuable? Because I'm lucky enough that I put out so many patterns that I can do a pattern that very few people will actually want or need. But because I'm going to do another one tomorrow, nobody cares. So if I do a pattern that's directed at pig farmers, okay, nobody cares, even though they can't use it, because they know tomorrow I'll do one for chicken farmers. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
They'll get something out of it. And so they'll subscribe to my blog just because they know eventually I'll get around to them. So I'm a little bit unique in the scroll saw pattern designing world, because most of the people that are doing it have to put out a pattern that they can sell. And I don't have to sell it, you know? Yeah. So it's different. It's different what I do.
Totally different. I agree. But the sheer fact that you can go, and I know you and I've talked a lot of times, and you say that you don't sleep, you know, you stay up till 2 or 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, and then you go to bed or whatever. But the sheer fact that you, in your mind or your intellectual or your creativeness, however you want to put it, they can create all these damn patterns is mind-boggling.
Yeah, but you got to understand, like everything else, there's tricks to everything. And, you know, not everything that looks creative is creative. You know, I have a lot of ways to motivate my creativity to come up with a pattern. It's not just magic. You know, I've got thousands of people writing me emails saying, I'd like a pattern of this. Well, I've got a to-do list of patterns that, trust me, I'll die long before I run out of patterns.
Well, I understand that, but still, regardless of all that mumbo jumbo, just to be able to produce those one patterns a day that are kind of like, I understand they're not the top of the line. They're not like the best of the best of the best, but
Right.
still they're right on point every time. They look good. They're most of your patterns, for those of you who have not figured out, are probably to the amateur to mid-level scroll.
Basic to mid-level. Yep.
Yeah, he don't put out like super hard patterns to begin with, but they're right on time every time, over and over and over again. And sometimes I wake up in the morning and look at that pattern and go, I hate you, Steve Good. I
You know,
really
it's kind of funny. I've never checked this, but I bet you if you went and looked at my download rates of patterns and you counted the number of interior cuts, that it would be proportional to the highest downloads have the smallest number of interior cuts. The more interior cuts, the less they download. So, I mean, I'm kind of making that up, but people like the basic patterns. They just do.
Steve, you were talking about consistency. I can remember it was some years back we were having one of these meetings at work, you know, and this motivational speaker would come in or something, and they were discussing, you know, what makes the business work and everything, and talking about consistency. And they said one was McDonald's. It's not that McDonald's food is that great. It's just that no matter where you go, there's consistency.
Yeah.
And you know what to expect, and you'll get it. You know, with rare exceptions, and consistency, reliability.
Yeah.
They know that your blog is going to be there tomorrow. It's not a fly by the night thing, and
well, you slowly over time become, even though you may have never met the person or even spoken to them, you slowly over time become friends with these people. You know, I follow a lot of YouTubers, a lot of woodworking YouTubers that I've never met, but I consider them my friend because I literally watch them every day or every other day or whenever they put a post out. So it's kind of funny how you do become friends, or in your mind, you're friends with these people because you get to know them so well. And I think that's what my consistency does. It gets me in front of people so often, and they begin to learn my personality just because my personality kind of comes out in the blog over a period of time. So it almost becomes a friendship type relationship. And that's the kind of emails I get. I get those emails every day where people will email me, has nothing to do with the scroll saw. They just email me to tell me that their husband's, you know, in the hospital, or their children, you know, are in a play this weekend. Nothing to do with scroll saws at all. And those emails are every day. And that's when you know that you've become part of that woodworking family, you know, using the word family. And at that point, you've probably gotten over the hump of, you know, where you're going to be able to continue to do what you do. Because a lot of people, they call it pod fading. People that used to do podcasts, they would get real gung-ho and they would put out a new podcast every week or every 2 weeks or whatever. And over a period of time, it would be every 3 weeks and then every 4 weeks. And eventually you fade out because you get tired. You get tired of doing it. Well, that's another thing that's never happened to me. I've never gotten tired of what I'm doing. It's because I like it so much. It's kind of funny. My wife and I are getting ready to go on vacation in a couple of weeks. And in the 11 years I've run this blog, I've never taken more than 3 days off of the blog. So if we ever left town, I would do a series of posts and have them scheduled to come out while I was gone. I would take my laptop with me, and if things needed to be done on the blog, I'd do it when I was on vacation or away, you know, on a business trip or whatever. And I told my wife the other day that I was really nervous because I'm thinking about not even looking at the blog for that week that we're gone. And that will be you just can't imagine. I will be a nervous wreck if I do that. I think I may try it, but we'll see what happens. I probably will break.
Oh, come on. Give me a break.
Yeah, I just warn everybody. I'm going on vacation. I'm going to.
Yeah, come on. Give me a break.
You know what a blogger thinks about that, though? a blogger. Here's the blogger mind. When I come back, nobody will be there.
Yeah.
Well,
I got news for you, my friend. If you didn't make a post for 2 or 3 blog posts for 2 or 3 weeks, there would probably be about 50 FBI agents, CIA, and all your fans will be on your doorstep trying to figure out where the hell you are.
Oh, Steve Good Bolo.
People asking everybody else, "Where's Steve? Where's Steve?"
Yeah, I mean, it would be a phenomenal thing if Steve Good.
This is kind of a sad subject to talk about, but I am actually working on the final blog post that somebody will make for me after I'm gone. So my plan is to do this till I die, because I'll have the passwords in my final blog post. Look, if you're reading this, I'm dead, that kind of thing. So my plan is to do it until I kick the bucket. So that kind of tells you something right there. So,
does any of Chris or y'all, anybody on the panel have? And thank you. We only got 30 thumbs ups out there, and we got 90 something people watching.
I don't know what's wrong with these people. They need to.
Yeah, come on, give me more thumbs up. I mean, give. Hey, if it's not for me, give Steve Good the thumbs up.
Hey, Russ, there's a lot of these people out there may not know what a thumbs up is. Tell them how to do it.
Well, if you look over there underneath where it says "Let's Talk Shop with Russ" S04, and it says 90 watt, there's a thumbs up and a thumbs down. So all you have to do is click on that little thumbs up over there, and it will skyrocket the thumbs up. So it's right.
Every thumbs up Russ gets, his beard grows another inch.
Yeah,
really cool to watch. So
yeah,
Steve,
right.
Steve, one thing I'd like to bring up, which I should have posted the link on Facebook, and I failed to do so. I think this was a recent thing you did with the Gwinnett Woodworkers about scrolling paper.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was a great video. I mean, you can make
thanks.
Some really nice cards. If people that do, if they or a friend or someone in their household does scrapbooking, they can contribute to that. And I'm going to mute myself and go kill my dog. I don't know what to choose.
Those have been real popular, Katie. And what I try to explain to people, and for those that aren't listening, is you can scroll paper or leather or foam, all kinds of material, even stickers, all kinds of stuff. And the neat thing about using a scroll saw to do it is you can make 30, 40, 50 of them in one time, because you just sandwich, however many sheets you want between 2 pieces of wood and cut them out. And I was not too long ago at an event where there was a professional leather crafter there. And in leather crafting, traditionally you do it with a knife. You cut the pattern out with a knife and you cut them one at a time, then you sew them together. Well, I had demonstrated to this guy who is a professional leather maker, that's what he does for a living, that he could do 10 or 12 of those at one time if he would get a scroll saw. And he was just blown away. So I was able to take a tool that we use, that he didn't even know what a scroll saw was, introduce it to him, and now he can incorporate that in business and make more money. So those are really fun things when I come up with something that I can show someone that they've never done before, and they're able to incorporate that into their business and make money. That's a lot of fun. I enjoy that a lot.
Yes, because the scroll saw is not limited to cutting just wood. It can cut leather, plastics,
corian.
We'll cut copper, aluminum, all your non-ferrous metals. It can cut a lot more. You can cut coins, and which has been, you can get if you know what you're doing, get a jeweler's blade and cut a coin. So it's not limited to just wood. There's a lot of other mediums that it can cut. Let me explain something. Not only can it cut, but no other saw can cut as good as it can. So that is definitely
with the exception on coins. There are people that cut by hand that are better than with a scroll saw.
Yeah, on the coins, yeah.
But there's only a handful of those people in the world.
Yeah, But you can cut coins. There's a bunch of stuff that it can be cut with precision, and that's another thing. You don't have to have that blade going up and down at 3,600 RPMs And the newer scroll saws is what the great is about it is you can control how many RPMs. There's a lot of functions that you didn't have before. You know, I watched a video today that I thought was really interesting that I saw a long time ago, like 2 or 3 years ago, where the guy was using one of those scroll saws where he actually used a foot pedal and up and down, and that's all he was able to do. And had a very aggressive, not like a scroll saw blade, I want to say, but almost like a blade that was maybe one of the older pinned in blades that was very aggressive. But he was cutting things out on. I was thinking to myself, you know, had I started out like that, I probably would have said, to hell with this. I ain't no way. Because I watched him for like 15, 20 minutes cut out some stuff, and I'm going like, I could have cut that in like 3 minutes with my damn scroll saw. So
some people just enjoy those old tools. There's a question in the chat from Zara King. What blades do you use for metal cutting? If you go to mikesworkshop.com, they sell jeweler's blades, and that's what I like to use. Now you're going to break a bunch of them, so don't buy a pack and think that's enough. You know, buy a few packs of them, because you're going to. If you cut a coin and you cut it very detailed, you might go through 4 or 5 blades.
Yeah, and that's the thing about it is when you start cutting metal, regardless of it being copper, aluminum, or a coin, nickel, whatever, those softer metals, so to speak, if you're going to stick a piece of iron up there or steel up there, I'm thinking that scroll saw is going to cut through it, you're going to have a really a different perspective of what's going on. So it's for like copper, aluminum, the non-ferrous soft metals, brass. It will cut brass without any problem. But those scrollers blades, but in the same aspect, and I've cut a few coins on my time and a few other pieces of metal. They go ahead and order 2 or 3 or 4 dozen when you get ready to start.
Yeah,
because
I don't know if this will show up or not, but there's a coin that was cut.
Yeah.
So you can see you can get fairly detailed, and this is not detailed. This is very non-detailed compared to what the pros can do. But anyway, you can cut pretty detailed designs in them.
Right.
And there's jigs to hold these. If anybody's interested in doing coin cutting, email me and I can hook you up with some jigs that will hold the coins that you can cut.
That's really cool.
You don't use the jig you made on your 3D printer anymore, Steve?
I don't cut enough coins to say that I use it. That's one thing that's a little misleading about what I do. I do a lot of things one time because I'm constantly trying to do something new for my readers. But I actually use, when I do cut coins, I use the jigs from my friend down in Atlanta who makes them. I think I showed them on the blog. I was looking to see if I had one here handy, but I think they're all out in the shop. Oh, here's one.
I've got one right here.
These are the jigs that I use now. Yeah, there you go. Sterling's got one.
Yeah.
And this is milled out of aluminum, and it's got a screw that goes through here, and you can see the quarters in there right there. You just simply put the quarter in the little detent and then tighten the screw down, and that holds it onto your saw while you cut it. It's really by far the easiest jig I've ever used. Now, the gentleman that makes these down in Atlanta, he got the idea from the 3D printed one. I actually built one of these out of plastic that, believe it or not, held fine. The reason I was actually going to market it, and the reason I didn't is because he came up with these and they're better. So it was not a good idea for me to do it at that point.
I'm looking on Thingiverse right now for one.
Yeah.
All right. So
Here's a
I know
3D printed one here, Steve.
let's take a break right here, right now.
Okay.
I know I promised that we would, we got, and I'm looking back through my email. So we've got quite a few people sending their pics that we want to look at, and I appreciate that you sent in your pics.
I think, Russ, I think James said that he accidentally sent one to Russ at Simply Wooden Creations instead of contest at Simply Wooden Creations.
I got this contest open, so if you didn't send it there, it's not going to be shown. So anyway, so screen share. Share. I hate when this does this. 'Cause I gotta figure out where the heck to go. And just keeps on and on and on. So Dennis, I'm waiting for it to get locked on over there. Dennis Goodson. Wow.
Those are cool. There's a guy down in Atlanta that does those. I think he actually originally designed that pattern, and he sells them at his craft booth, and those things sell like crazy.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Neat.
Yeah.
Is it just an ornament, or is it a lamp, or?
It's like
It's a hot
it
air
looks
balloon.
like 3 air balloons or air balloons hanging around that he did.
So like an ornament, then yeah.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Awesome.
And then we have James.
Neat.
Nice. Wow. Some nice work.
Oh, look at the little bike.
I like that. Isn't that cool? Now, is this James Parker? James, I don't say. I don't know if it's him or not. So,
Yes, that's James Parker.
oh, James, damn, that's nice. Oh, wow. Look at that.
Little puppy dog.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jimbo 5312. That's James Parker. Yeah. Hey,
Yeah.
Is that dog yours, Jim? Or is it one
Now,
of your?
this comes from little dog comes from Martin Cole.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this comes from Martin Cole.
See how the head's tilted and the eyes look all pouty?
I know that is.
Oh, I know.
Isn't that cool?
But I was wondering if that's actually a cut of an existing animal.
I think they made.
I think it said it was a Kathy Wise pattern.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Gotcha.
I like the depth between the back legs.
Somebody can have this dog.
Kind of looks like that one, Katie.
All right, so we go with this one. Oh, cool.
Ooh.
Neat.
Cocopelli.
Yep. Very nice. And this came from Skull Saw candle holder from
John Harrison.
John Harrison. Yep. And this would come from who is this guy? Sterling
I
Davis.
don't know. Just skip over him.
How the hell did he get in here tonight?
Yeah, really.
Oh, somebody sent it to him, I guess.
Yeah.
I sent those before I knew that I was going to be on the show. So.
No, it's all right. Sterling, that is a fantastic. That is beautiful. I mean, he
that
did
was
that.
actually at the Billy Graham Library in Charlotte, North Carolina.
There you go. So,
Nice
awesome.
work.
Okay. Wait a minute.
Beautiful.
And that one is at the Cove in Asheville, North Carolina. At the
Sterling, what's the wood on the frame on that one?
Brazilian cherry.
Wow.
That's beautiful.
I got that from my good friend Ken Moon.
Nice.
I was in Atlanta and he had some wood.
Oh, neat.
Yeah, that's Susan Meyer's pattern there. That the clock parts come from bearwood.com.
That's neat.
I remember when this Jaguar picture got went missing the other year when we were at the Atlanta Woodworking Show.
Yeah, Andy Berkey designed that. I asked him if I could cut that.
Berkey original.
All right, so we did that one.
Can you log on your picture? Can you lock on your view? Because it keeps switching.
Steve, I think it's switching because we're watching the live and not the.
Okay. I got you.
Yeah.
All right, this is from.
Those are pretty. Are those different names?
Yeah, they look like different names.
Wow.
Survivor.
The outside view is switching too.
Are those scrolls? Are those scrolled or are those? Yeah, I
They
guess.
look like scrolled.
You're right. You're right, Paul.
Hey Russ, can you lock on
Yeah.
your pictures?
Hold on.
Yeah, sorry, Steve. I didn't realize that.
That's all right.
Stop.
He don't believe one person, Steve.
Yeah, yeah. And Paul is that's the gold standard.
Okay. Well, hold on.
Well, Russ is the gold standard.
If y'all want to look at my face the rest of the night, this is the way we're going to go. So.
No, the screen, Russ, not your face, the screen.
Not you. Don't want to see you. Want to see the pictures.
See, that's actually an ulterior motive to not see your face.
Will you shut the hell up?
So that last one you
Don't talk
showed
to me
with
like
the
that.
doves there with the pink, was that Ken that sent those?
And are those scroll saw cut or those 3D printed?
If it's from Ken, it's scroll saw.
Okay.
And there's a backstory. There's a backstory to those.
Yeah, it looked like Cancer Survivor.
Yeah, they had the pink ribbon.
All right, now we'll go back. This is the last one, Martin Cole. Okay, I'm trying to catch up to where we were. Sterling gave us. All right, how about this one? All right, that's the one we were at. That kind of looks like a cancer survivor.
Yeah.
Who sent
Yeah,
that?
it does.
Got the pink ribbons with us, so it would be.
Yeah. That's cool. I really like that.
Those are neat, yeah.
And then Bill sent these in. Oh,
Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
I love those columns.
yeah, those are beautiful.
I'd love to learn to do those.
Believe it or not, those columns can be cut on the scroll saw.
Yes,
Yes,
they
they
can. By somebody else, not me.
Right.
Yeah, like someone knows what they're doing.
Nice.
Sweet.
Yeah, those are pretty pins.
Wow.
Oh,
That looks kind of nutty to me.
Yeah.
Those little columns, I wanted to always try to cut those, but I don't want to sand them.
Now that one was sitting on a CNC.
Holy crap! Look at that screwdriver.
Yikes.
Oh, that's nice. That's a door.
The cabinet door. Yeah, I just saw the knob.
A wing
Thanks. I'm
lamp.
busy.
Who is this?
Hell if I know. That was back the last one. No, I wasn't. Well,
No, it's not that guy.
hey, leave me alone. Let me get through these.
No. Was that Bill Buckley?
Yeah, that was Bill.
Buckley?
Yeah, that was this guy, Bill.
Yep.
Then
His
we're
name
going
was on
to
the
Matt
mailbox.
Haas.
Who's that?
I don't know who this guy. He's kind of like weird.
He is, and I don't think he scrolled that table.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think he did a scroll saw on this table.
He probably 3D printed it.
But
Yeah.
look at that
Yeah,
command
CNC.
he's wearing.
Yeah, so
That's his command center.
Matt Haas is a very good friend of mine. So, if you don't know this, we're jesting about the table and everything. He built this for his office.
Yes.
His
I'm just
office
wondering,
is kind of an oblong size, and he made this for it, and it is very, very nice.
Is that the desk that he laid across in the Prince video?
I think I don't know if that's it or not. So, anyway, Chris,
That's an awesome video.
Yep.
that's yours.
The work in
Was that on
progress.
purpose, Chris?
Yeah, it's a yarn bowl. It's the
Yeah.
path is a little bigger than I planned.
I
That was
thought
a
we
great
wrote,
drawing.
Video.
and you try to put a Y in it to. That's cool.
Yeah.
No, you put the ball of yarn in there, and the yarn goes through the little
Hey,
tail.
Chris, you
Yeah.
did great, bud. It looks fantastic.
Those
Hey,
sell
Rick.
well too.
Are
It's
you doing a
it's
video
every
on
bit
it,
as
Chris?
good as what I could do. I mean, I wouldn't even attempt to try that. So,
I had no idea what I was doing.
Are you doing a video on it, Chris?
The next one I will. Not on this one.
Ooh.
your
Yeah,
flag.
that's a lot of work right
For
there.
a challenge coin rack for the deputy police chief of Cambridge. So
Nice.
you got to come up with this. There's the
Hey,
ball.
it works. It works. So, what's your point?
That's
Well,
nice.
the trough, the path should be a little more narrow.
All right. So, and this is the last one. I guess we get. Oh,
Oh,
wow.
man.
Oh,
Well, that's pretty.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
That pattern's available on my catalog if you want it.
And who is this that did the?
We'll go back in just a second. We'll see.
This goes something or other's email.
It is Dan
Dan
Inge.
Inge.
Oh,
Holy crap, Dan!
Dan,
Good job.
yeah, you're getting good.
Wow.
I see Dan entering that next month.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
look really
Wow,
closely
man,
at the
that's
clock
awesome,
face.
Dude. Yeah, Dan's one of my followers that's been around for eons, older than you are, Katie.
I'm so glad to hear that somebody's older than
That's
me.
old.
Yeah, older than you are.
But look at the clock face. It's not. You
I
know,
know.
it's very. I guess it's Dan and his beloved, or
Well, if he's going to put it in the contest, I think the judge's picture there would help.
Right. It helped me. Hey, when does the contest start? Jimbo's asking.
What's the scroll saw contest?
Yes, sir.
October 1st to October 31st.
And what's the theme?
This year is Katie bar the door.
okay.
Okay.
Anything you want to enter, it can be anything whatsoever, and we're going to do it different this year. Steve and I have talked about this. Steve has helped me so much over the years when I first started this, and I've always been disappointed kind of about how many people we got to enter. And we had talked on several occasions. I think we came to a decision, and when I say decision is because I talk to Steve all the time, and he's one of my closest friends. And when I do these contests, he's always supported me and done things through him. But this year we're going to do it different. We realize that there's a lot of people out there that can do video. They don't have the capability of doing video. So this year we're going to change it up so that if you can produce 3 pictures before enter in the full-time project. In other words, I want to see the materials you're going to use. I want to see you sitting at the scroll saw with trying to cut it out, and then I want to see the project finished. All you have to do is send me 3 pictures. It doesn't have to be a video. And
Okay. Is it a limit to 3 pictures, or I mean, because
it's a limit to 3 pictures because
limit to 3 pictures.
Yeah,
because
if I tell you 5 pictures and I get 300 entries, 5 times 3 is 50. I mean, I can't handle that many pictures.
That's what I was thinking because it can get
so
really overwhelming really quick.
I'm not going to try to overwhelm myself. So I figure 3 pictures, the materials you're going to use, you sitting at your scroll saw, and the finished project. You're sitting at the scroll saw, cutting it out, and the finished project. You send me those 3 pictures, and I will compile them into a video that will eventually get put onto for that, and we'll judge it by that rather than you have to have a video. Because go ahead, we talked about this, Steve. So go ahead and let them.
Yeah, I just think that anytime you do a contest that involves them having to make video, you're going to limit the number of people greatly. It's too time consuming and it's too technologically prohibitive for. Let's face it, our demographic is not the 20-somethings that use these cell phones every day to do videos. Our demographic is a little bit older than that, and they're just in general not into doing the video things. And I see that all the time on my blog. When I post a video, if I get 5,000 views on a video, that's a big view. That's a large number of views. And I send out 1.4 million emails a month, and I get 5,000 views. They just don't watch the videos. There's some that do, but by far the majority don't.
Right.
So video is a problem. So I think if you do the pictures, your turnout's going to be higher. And there's other things you can do with those pictures too. You could do open judging where you posted the pictures on a website and let, you know, the public vote. I mean, there's all kinds of other things you could do to kind of jazz the contest up if you wanted to, without having to do the video. Now, the problem is some contests, like your whirligig contest, kind of useless without the video. You know,
Yeah.
you kind of need it.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I know that the World Gig Contest ain't going to get it without a video. I want to see it moving. So
And you
Right.
got
we can at least this year try to get people, you know, my whole thing about this thing, about doing this contest is only for one reason. It's not about me. I just want to make that clear and understood. It is about those people that are entering, and I want their videos to come forth, because some of these people don't have a YouTube channel, don't have this, don't have that. They've never been seen before, and they create such phenomenal, wonderful things on their, they do create. So I want to give them exposure out into the real world. So I realize that the last couple of years that the whole scroll saw thing has been about, you know, produce a video, which goes back to the pilot challenge and the whirligig wars. This year we're changing it up. All I need is 3 pictures. You just send me a picture of the materials, you sitting at the scroll saw, and the finished product, and we'll compile them. And what I'll do is compile into a video that comes a slideshow and put it on my channel toward the end of the contest. But anybody's phone, if you own a phone, come on, any phone nowadays will take pictures, and all you have to do is forward them to the email address. So 3 pictures is all you need. 1, 2, 3. And then if I get 50 or 75, let's say I get 50 people that enter the contest by entering pictures, 3 times 5 is 15. So I only have to deal with 150 pictures. So if I told somebody 8 or 10 or 10 pictures and I get 300 people entering, that's 3,000 pictures. Oh my God, I can't deal with 3,000 pictures. Do I think I'm going to get that? I would love. If God gave me 3,000 people to enter that, I would say, thank you, Jesus. So, you know,
Well, there's another hurdle to overcome too that's a little harder, and that's the shyness hurdle. There's so many people out there that I talk to that they've been cutting on the scroll saw for 20, 30 years, and nobody's ever seen a single piece they've ever made.
yeah,
You know, they are just scared to death to let people see what they're doing.
because they don't think they're good enough.
Right. And they would be shocked at the reaction they would get if they would just show their work.
And you know what? And that goes back. I just like to point him out, and I hope he's out there in the chat. That go back to James Parker, a friend of mine that I have met through the show, and he met me, and he come and saw me up in the Rockler up in Orlando and Altamont Springs, and he come and visited me that day. He brought me some of his stuff, and he doesn't have a YouTube page, or he doesn't have all this other stuff where he's promoting his products or what he's doing. And he brought me some of the stuff he's done. And I was like, I got one right here. Here, just give me 1 second. I want to show you this.
While you're looking for that, I just want to say, to go along with what Steve said, I personally think, me personally, I'm a hack. I'm a hobbyist at best, and I feel like what I do is for self-gratification to get me through the day and keep me sane. Now, I share it for one reason. Someone told me, and I'll say it, Steve Ramsey told me, he said, you need to share what you do, simply because someone out there may not know that one thing that you just did, or you may inspire someone to do something that they didn't take the initiative to do because they didn't know to do it that certain way. Yep. So I don't produce anything to brag. I don't show anything to brag. I do it to hopefully inspire and let people see, hey, you can do this. If I can do it, you hear this, it's a cliche, I know, but if I can do this, you can do this. Because I am, in my personal opinion, what Steve Good just said, I'm a hack. I personally feel like I'm a hack. I do it because I'm a hobbyist, but I share it because I love what I do, and I hope to inspire someone else to do what I do.
Back to this is what James Parker gave to me to give my wife, and he didn't think he was that good.
So that's just crazy. He needs to be making videos.
Oh
That's
yeah,
amazing.
I told him that. He gave it. He said, "Here, give this to your wife." He cut this out on a scroll saw.
And for anybody that's watching that may not be into scroll saw work yet, that pattern is doable within just a few weeks of getting started on a scroll saw.
Exactly.
Nothing complicated about that at all.
He cut this for me and asked me if there's anybody there that you know.
I wonder who that is.
Yeah, he gave me he goes, "I cut this for you, Russ. Do you recognize anybody?" So this guy is fantastic. He gave me a lot of other his work to bring home just to give to me freely. And this guy is a fantastic. And he sits there and says, "I don't think I'm that good." And I'm thinking to myself, dude, you don't understand how good you are. You're fantastic. So,
and another thing about Russ's contest, he gets enough sponsors that even if maybe yours isn't the best one that gets turned in, you've got a pretty good chance of winning.
yes,
He gets lots of sponsors.
yeah, because what we do is we pick the top 3, and then everybody else gets a random, like we do the other ones. So first, second, and third gets chosen. But if we have 10 prizes and there's 15 entries, 10 people are going to win the rest of the prizes or the other prizes from the top 3. So I like that because I want to award the people that are, the top winners. I want to award them, but in the same aspect, I want everybody to have a chance of winning something.
Yeah, I like it too.
Yeah. So first, second, and third gets the top 3 prizes. They get actually to choose what they want out of the whole entire list. And then after they've chosen, all the rest of the gifts go on the auction block, and we just choose a random whoever is. So and that means if you don't, you think you don't, you're not that good or whatever, you think your scroll saw project don't meet up to be the first, second, or third, it doesn't matter. Because you're thrown in with everybody in that bottom line, and you have just as good a chance of winning a prize as anybody. So it kind of mixes it up. I like that. I like to award that. I want to award the top people that make things, and I want the world to know these are like what I think, or the panel thinks, are some of the best. But when it comes down to everything else as judged, it's kind of like, well, I know in my heart I can't get number 1 or number 2. So why don't I even want to enter? Whoa. When you only pick 1, 2, and 3, and there's 15 prizes, and there's only 10 people, you got a chance of winning one of those prizes because the rest of it's the draw of a hat.
And the prizes have been pretty good.
Yes. Oh, our prizes range anywhere between, I would say, $20 to $100.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's worth taking 3 pictures for.
Yeah. $20 to $100. Some of our prizes are up there around the $100 mark, and some are only around $20, $25. But hey, I would like to win $20 and have the recognition that I won $20. So.
And you're not losing anything because you're doing something you love to do anyway. You're scroll sawing. That's what you like to do, or you wouldn't be doing it. So what are you losing? You're not losing anything this year. And I think that's been the problem because, like Steve said, most of the demographics are older people that does scroll saw project. Hey, look at me. It's not like I'm 20 something years old. I mean, I'm getting to my point that I'm 60 years old. I just turned 60 August 2nd. So it's easy for me to do the videos. That's not a big deal because I'm into this video thing. But what'd you say, Sterling? I said, God, you're 10 years older than me? Really?
Yes, I'm 10 years older than you, asshole. I mean,
I'm 10 years older. I'm 10 years older than Russ.
Yeah, he's
Non-stop.
so anyway, so video to me is not no big deal, but I can understand that people that cannot or don't understand the function. But 99.9% of all of our cell phones today take pics, and it's real easy to convert them and go over and send them into an email to me, so you don't have to do the video. I'm trying to make this as simply as possible, and the reason being is I want a lot of people that have never been known. Shelley and Shane Cole would not be, and I'm not saying this in any way, shape, or form to brag, Shelley and Shane Cole would not be known today as much as they're known if it wouldn't be for they entered the scroll saw contest. Shelley entered it the very first year. Donald Matthews entered it the very first year. They got some of their spring forwards from entering that contest. So am I trying to take credit for it or no? They earned it on their own. My point is it can lead to you getting your own little YouTube channel. You look at Donald Matthews today. Look at Shelley and Shane Cole today. And they all started by entering the scroll saw contest. 2 or 3 years.
Look at the chat. Look at the chat. We're getting ages. This is cool.
Yeah.
Well, for some that there may be some out there that are not even really good with. They can take the picture, but how do they get the picture onto the email and stuff? You've got a kid, you've got a grandkid somewhere in your family that can give you a hand with that.
Yep. Exactly. And like I said, I'm not trying to prove myself because Shane and Shelley and Donald and there's about a handful of other people that came into about because of me and my show. I don't care about the recognition for me.
Hey,
what
Russ.
I care about is the fact that this was an avenue that they came forward, they entered a contest, they did something, and it got promoted, and they got their start. Am I proud that they got their start because of probably me and my show and my channel? Hell yeah, I'm proud, because that's all I'm trying to do is to promote other woodworkers, to get you out in your shop, to do things, to get you a channel going, and that's all I'm looking towards. That gives me the satisfaction. Do I make a lot of money off this? Hell no, I don't make a lot of money off this. I'm not in this for the money. I'm in here to do the exact same thing that I do every week, and that is promote you out there in the chat, the woodworkers out there, and get you going, get you a channel. Just get out there and do some damn woodworking.
Hey, Russ, this just made my night. My daughter, Kelly Shuford's in the chat. I had no idea she even knew I...
No way. What's she say?
She says she's 29. Boy, that makes me feel old.
She's out there in the chat?
Yeah, she's in the chat. I had no idea she even knew I existed.
What's her name?
Kelly.
Hey, Kelly.
Hi, Kelly.
Hi, Kelly.
Hey,
Dad
Kelly.
and I have been friends for a long time. I don't think he's ever talked about me, but that's okay. He don't love me that much.
Well, I want to ask Steve a couple of questions. And one just came
All right,
up.
I'm going to take a break. I'm going to take a break so y'all keep Steve entertained for about 2 or 3 minutes.
Well, Steve, Kelly says hi, by the way. Hi, Dad.
Y'all got it.
Sterling, your volume is still low.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm on my phone, and I'm so sorry if you can't hear.
Oh, okay.
I can hear you okay, Sterling.
Well, Sterling, come on and say what you were going to say to Steve, man. I interrupted.
Well, no, I had 2 quick questions. One I've asked him before, and one that I just thought about tonight because he mentioned it. But when Dan Inglewood's picture came up there of the clock birdhouse, he immediately knew it because it was his pattern. How does that make you feel when you see other people implementing your patterns? How does that come across to you?
That's a black. And I think I posted on the blog the other day that just last week I passed the 57 million downloads of patterns. And you think about that. Here's how I feel about that. 100 years from now, when I'm dead, long since forgotten, my patterns are still going to be out there. Out of 57 million, at least 10 of them will still be there 100 years from now. And that's pretty cool. You know, that's that whole leaving your mark, you know, behind you, which to me is really rewarding. I grew up my mom was an artist when I grew up. So I grew up, you know, around art and had the love of art from the time I was old enough to pick up a pencil. You know, I've always loved that. And so I've always followed a lot of artists. And the one thing you hear a lot of them talk about is they want to leave behind a volume of work that can be respected long after they're gone. And that's what I see when I see my patterns out there. I'll be traveling around the country and go into a gift shop and I'll see one of my projects in a gift shop, or you'll see it. I'll have occasions where I'll be in a Home Depot somewhere and somebody will come up and say hi. You know, they recognize me. So that's a lot of fun. That's one of those, I call that ego busting. That's when they bust my ego, because we've all got egos. You know, you want to be puffed up a little bit from time to time. And that's a lot of fun. That's the payback for what I do. That's fun.
Hey, Steve, Dan Andy is asking, what pattern that you have has the most interior cuts?
Oh, probably, hang on.
And hello, Sebastian Holtree. Hello.
My guess would be, I've never counted, but my guess would be this one. It's the Eiffel Tower.
Oh, wow.
I don't know how many interior cuts it got, but this one is kind of funny because I still take a lot of flack over that because there's an error in it. You probably won't be able to see it on the video, but this set of girders is different from this one. Yeah, they're different. So I get emails about that all the time. The two most common emails I get are, you spelled that word wrong and the pattern's messed up. I think that's probably the most interior cuts.
Just go real quick. I would not know Paul Corliss if it hadn't. How did we meet, Paul?
We met at the Tampa Woodworking Show watching, was it Lanny Shaughnessy we were watching?
Yep. And you walked up to me and said, "Hey, I've watched you on YouTube.
Aren't you Russ? Are you Russ?" You were the only guy there with a beard, so I figured it had to be Russ.
See?
Yeah.
So I would have never met Paul in a million years, and he wouldn't be on my show tonight had it not been for him watching my show.
Yeah, that's been what, about 3 years ago, I think?
3 years.
Yeah.
So my point is, you know, for all the y'all that want to go out there and say whatever you want to say about my show or my channel and degraded or
I badmouth you all the time.
yeah, I mean, just, you know, if you want to say that I'm doing this or doing that, you don't like this or that. My point is, I could care. I got to watch my language.
Hey,
I'm trying to hold it back.
Hey, Russ, let's do this. Let's do this. I don't care either. Let's interview Steve.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, whatever you want to say about whatever you want to say about me, I could care less.
Yeah, don't
because of the fact tonight proves everything that I needed to prove. Where I'm having the time of my life.
Awesome.
Some of the greatest friends of my life right here in front of me. I'm talking to them. I'm interviewing them. I'm being with them. And guess what? 76 people as of right now are watching us. And all you 76 must like something about this, or you wouldn't be out there. So thank you so very much, Dan Inge, Dennis Goodson, Sebastian Holly, Ken McCrory, Tom Spillane, for being Aussie Man, for being out there in the chat. Let's go ahead and bring up a few more real quick. Big Aussie Man, Sebastian Holtree, Dan Ingebrigtsen, Randy Hutchencraft, Dennis Goodson, Zara King, Tom Spillane, Kelly Shuford.
My daughter.
That's your daughter?
Yep.
Yeah, she said, "Hey, Dad."
That blows me away.
Desert Bum Woodworking. Jeffrey Super. Is that his? Is that somebody? Tom Spillane. Inspired Woodworks. Sebastian Holtry. Michelle McCrew. Inspired Woodworks. Stephen Carmichael's been out there.
Hey, Steve.
Yeah, Desert Bum Woodworking. All y'all have been. I could go back through, and I'm sorry that I haven't paid attention. We've been so involved in this, but all y'all have been out there, and that is my point, Show Chat, is that I don't. You can ridicule me. You can say what you want. I'm having the time of my life. I have a bunch of good friends. I have a lot of y'all out there watching me. And as long as that happens, we're going to keep on doing what we're doing. So, we're going to keep on.
Hey, Sterling, to answer your question, I just remembered this luminary that I'm doing the screen share of was over 680 interior cuts.
Well, that's it, huh?
Yeah, that's it. I just remembered that.
That takes you, what, an hour?
I cut that in about 2 hours.
2 hours. Oh, wow.
Are you kidding me?
2 days.
No, I just looking. Took me an hour and 45 minutes.
Wow.
But Russ will tell you I cheated. What'd I do, Russ?
You did the side panels that you stack cut it.
Yeah, I stack cut all four at once.
Yeah, you
I
stack.
actually
Yeah,
only
even stack
actually-
cutting, I just quiz.
Yeah, you cheated. It would have
I
taken
cheated.
4 days. It only took me 1.
In other words, he didn't cut all 4 pieces. He stacked them all up in 4 pieces at one time.
Right.
See, that's working smarter, not harder.
That's
Yeah,
right. That's
true.
being efficient, not cheating.
Exactly. That is exactly true.
I don't know. Yeah, when I was harping on that early, and I'm sorry about that, is I got kind of depressed a while back, or this past few weeks when I found there was some negative contacts or negative stuff that was posted, and some other things that people have been harping and talking about me behind my back and everything. And I know they're out there. And
Well, I'm not stopping anytime soon, Russ. I'm going to talk about you behind your back every opportunity.
yeah, but my point was, it kind of got to me a little bit, and it does. I'm only human. I mean, when you see they're out there making these comments and making these rude remarks and blaming you for this and talking about you for that, and then you know, it kind of comes. You think about it, but then you get that light at the end of the tunnel. And when I talk to Steve Good, every time I talk to this man, it kind of like makes my day a little bit brighter. And the reason being is because he does this for nothing, for no one. He's not receiving monetary from any. I mean, he's getting money, but my point is he does this for no other reason is that he's having fun. He's having a good time. He's making these patterns. He's got his blog spot up. And that's the same thing I'm doing. So I just have to reflect back for a few moments and say, you know what? So whatever you want to, make these rumors up. You know.
Hey, Russ, anytime someone's pointing their finger at you, they got 3 pointing right back at you.
Yeah. So and that's so it's just that's all it was. Is I've just the last few weeks I kind of like got downhearted about what was going on. But tonight I've refreshed myself.
Yay.
I feel good.
Russ,
Hey.
stop
And
feeding the trolls.
We're
Stop.
we're going on. I don't give a flip what you
Right.
think about me or my show. Guess what? It's going to continue. It's going to grow. It's going to get better, and we're going to go on.
And we're going to have fun.
Yeah, have fun.
I want to ask Steve a couple more questions.
Yeah,
We got time? Do we have time? I don't want to take.
we got all the time in the world. We ain't got nowhere to go.
Well, I just had a couple of comments. Well, one's a comment. And one's
Go
a
for it.
So I sent Steve an email last year. It was right before Christmas. About this time, I sent him. And this is the kind of person Steve is. It's not just what he does, but what he does to help other people within the community. I sent him a pattern that I had made. He probably don't remember. He may, I don't know. But my daughter, she was in the Army, and I made a little tank pattern. It's a Christmas ornament pattern, and it had, Army on it because she's in the Army. Well, Steve said, it's a great looking pattern, but you need to understand something. There's logistics behind this, the copyright laws between the Army and, they have copyright laws to their name. And, so it's not just what he does, but the logistics behind what he does also when it comes to, laws with copyrights, with, the knowledge that he has and gives in information privately, I personally appreciate. I really do, because that helped me a whole lot.
That's actually, since you bring that subject up, that's something that's changed. The military, other than the Marines, never used to enforce their trademarks, and they have in the last 6 months to 12 months started enforcing their trademarks. So if you're out there selling stuff, the odds are you're not going to be in trouble because it's hard for them to monitor that. But if you're selling online, like on Etsy, which is where I'm hearing this from, those people are starting to get cease and desist letters from. Yeah. So that's unfortunate.
Mine was more of a pride thing. My daughter was in the Army. I wanted to make a tank and give it out. And say, here, this is something I made. But then you brought light to it. That it made me say it was an aha moment. He's got something here. I don't want to get myself in legal trouble just for doing something that I thought was a good thing.
Well, I unfortunately became a little bit of an expert in that because I got cease and desist letters. So you learn real quick when the lawyers start emailing you or calling you.
Flat out tell you, don't do anything the United States Marine Corps in something that you're doing except for yourself, for your personal own being, because that's United States Marine Corps. That's one of the emblems, and anything they have on there is copyrighted, and they'll sure come after you.
The Marines have always done it, but the other services never enforced it. They always had the trademarks; they were always filed, but they never enforced them. Now and I'm sure the lawyers are telling them that there's money to be had there or whatever, and it's their property. That's fine. But the places you want to stay away from, they're real easy. Don't do anything that has to do with Disney. Don't do anything that has to do with Harley Davidson, and don't do anything that has to do with any of the major universities. Those groups they hire outside firms to monitor what goes on the web, and you'd be surprised in your little corner of the world that they'll find you if you're selling it. If you're not selling it, they're not going to mess with you, but they will find you. I've had cease and desist letters within a week after I posted a pattern. That's how fast.
You had that one, and tell them about this. Was the eccentric rings or whatever?
The Unity Cross.
Yeah, the Unity Cross.
I had an email from a reader that they wanted a Unity Cross, which is a 2-part cross that the mothers of the bride and groom put together during a wedding ceremony to symbolize unifying the families. So I totally designed the pattern from my own head. I didn't copy it off anything. And I posted it, and it wasn't even 2 weeks later, I got a letter from a lawyer. They wanted to know how many of them had been distributed, how much income I had received from it. Basically they were wanting to know what their monetary damages were. Of course, they demanded that I take it down because all 2-part crosses had been trademarked. And to me, that sounded impossible. Other than Jesus Christ, who could have a trademark on a cross, right? It just didn't make sense. Well, sure enough, he had a trademark. Now, could he have enforced it? If I had been willing to fight it, maybe, maybe not. You never know until you go to court. But who's going to go to court over a free pattern? So, of course, I had to take it down. But, there's times out there where you can sell a product that you can get yourself. And the problem is the monetary damages are astronomical. If they sue you, you could be talking tens of thousands of dollars per infringement. So you do have to be careful.
Yeah,
I know of one. A lot of you may have heard of this. Some of you may have not. But David Picciuto, he used to go as a drunken woodworker. You remember the Christmas tree ornament that hangs in your car?
Yeah.
He done a little pattern similar to that. Well, that's copyrighted. And he got a cease and desist letter based off of that, with, you know, something as simple as that Christmas tree ornament that, you know, hangs in these cars. So you got to really be careful with what you do there on pattern making.
Yeah, trust me, I learned that the hard way too. I did word on word patterns since the early 80s or 70s, and that word on word pattern took off, and I did one time and I got somebody all upset about me about doing that. So,
well, and the other thing I wanted to ask Steve, and I think I know the answer because I think you touched on it a little bit because of your audience and your age demographics, but I just offering advice because I think it's merited with the different social medias out there, between Facebook and especially like Instagram. When are you going to get a little bit more involved with those social medias?
I'm not.
You're
And
not.
I'll tell you why. First of all, I think about as highly of Facebook as I think about the devil.
Well,
they're in the same category for me.
I agree.
That's a crooked company run by crooked owners, and I just have no respect for them.
I'm fixing to dump.
The problem, and ask me what I really feel, and I'll tell you later. But anyway, the problem is not that. The problem is I don't have time. I'm getting 100 emails a day. I could spend 8 hours a day. When I get an email, like I got an email from Shelly Cole earlier today, and she wanted some advice on buying a scroll saw. It took me an hour and 30 minutes to reply to her email because I want to give her everything she needs to make that decision because I like her. She, I respect her as a person, as a creator, so I want to give her her due. So if you just do that once or twice a day on an email, you've used up a lot of time. Now take that and get 100 emails a day, or during this next 3 months, I may get 300 emails a day.
Yeah.
And just to respond to those is a huge outlay of time. It's the number one largest time generator in my business is answering emails. There's not even a close second. I can design and publish a pattern in 30 minutes if I want to. All right. If I cut the pattern, add another hour to it. So that's not where the time is. The time is answering the email. And so to do Facebook and Instagram, just all that means is that's less time that I have to go watch TV with my wife. Not worth it.
And the same thing about Facebook. I keep holding on to Facebook, and only for one reason. I have so many firefighter friends that have retired that I know. I have so many people that are on this panel and do things that I personally know. I have so many friends on Facebook, and I get Pat Legore. This man was one of the inspirations in my life when I was 15 or 16 years old to become a firefighter. He was a volunteer lieutenant. He's in his 70s right now. I see him post things every day on Facebook. He lives within 10 miles of me in North Lakeland. I know where he lives. I know the man. And I get to see a glimpse of he posts things about his granddaughter on a daily basis. I have tons of other friends that do this. And then I get I'm going to say some things that you might as well put your fingers in the ear. I get all the bullshit and all the crap, all the crud that comes out about the Democrats and the Republicans and all this other bull crap stuff that I could care less about.
My virgin ear.
And all this just garbage that gets put on there, and I have to filter through all this shit just to get down to what my friends are saying. Steve, I know he don't post, but Steve Good's post or Katie Dotson's post that that I really want to see, because all this other tons of garbage and crap that they're spewing out, with 90% of what you read is wrong. They're saying this crap that this person did this or this person did that, and he molested me back in high school. Give me a break. So you're looking at, I'm trying to decipher through all this crap to see just what my friends are posting, that they're having grandbabies, that their brother's in the hospital, that their sister's not doing well, or all this stuff that's going on in their lives that I want to see and I want to be involved with. And that's why I joined Facebook, but I have to filter through all this bullshit to get to that.
It sounds like you really feel.
Yeah.
But anyway, Sterling, the real reason is I don't have the time. It's just too much, because I am retired and I do want to spend time with my family, and I could easily spend 20 hours a day on the blog if I wanted to, but I just, you have to do other things.
Just know, Steve, I love you and I appreciate you. I really do.
Thank you.
Indeed, Steve. Thanks.
Yeah. I want to tell you, this man I met, like I said, 4 or 5 years ago when he opened up his forum and I became a moderator. We met back then and we've been friends ever since.
I think it's longer than that, Russ.
It's been a long time.
It's been a long time.
It's been a long time. But there's one thing that I've cherished about it is anything I can call him and ask him questions. I can pick his brain, and he's always there for me. He's always promoted my channel. He's always promoted me. I try to promote him as much as I can, although his promotions outweigh my promotions, if you want to get it back straight. But Steve Good, I would just like to say thank you for being my friend all these years, and for also supporting me for all these years.
Been a pleasure. Been a pleasure.
So
I remember the first time I met Steve Good in person. We went to Woodworking American in Cincinnati. It's about 4 years ago.
Yeah.
I'm always known as the big guy. When I walked up and I seen Steve, I said, "Damn,
he's a big guy."
He's a big guy.
I'm trying to get less big.
How tall are you, Steve? You got to be 6'2".
I'm 6'2". Yeah. But at my heaviest, I was like 325, and I'm down to 270 now. That's what retirement's done for me. So
now you're 6'2", and I'm down here at 5'10". So you're a little bit, and even Sterling's like over me.
Sterling's tall. You're taller than that to me, aren't you, Sterling?
Well, I'm 6'4", but I'm 340.
Yeah.
Which I've come down. I've lost 20 pounds. I was 360, so I'm coming down a little bit.
No, the first time I ever met Steve Good is I never met him in person up till when we shook hands, and I was like, I had to look up. I'm like, damn, I didn't realize you were that tall, Steve.
That was down in Atlanta.
Yep, it was in Atlanta.
I've got a question. Have any more pictures been sent into your email?
I don't know. Let me go over here and look.
I bet there's a few more. And there's still 70 watching, so.
No, you were talking about tall. My son-in-law is 6'9".
Whew, that's tall.
All right, let's go back to share.
Yes. Watching. Okay.
And lock on you so it doesn't bounce around.
Yeah, lock on me. All right, so we'll go back. Oh, well, the last ones I got here was Chris Hearn.
No, after me.
This one?
Yeah, that was the last one.
Well, that's the only one I've got since.
I saw somebody that said they had sent something in.
Wouldn't they be at the top? I saw some dated timed 8:45.
100 birthday clock.
Yeah, let's see what that is.
Oh,
cool.
Cool.
There.
That's cool.
Isn't it?
That's neat.
I like
I'll put it again.
What does it say? Olga?
Olga.
He's still,
First,
100 years.
Bless her heart.
that's awesome.
All right.
Can you
So
imagine how she's going to feel when they give her that? Isn't that going to be neat?
Yeah.
look at that. That's cool.
Oh,
I like that. Beautiful colors.
Wow. Who did the colors? And that's a puzzle too.
Yeah, that was segmentation. That's what that is. So
yeah, but it looks like it's a puzzle that it comes apart.
right, it is. So
Who did that one, Russ?
Gary
Hirsch,
Hirsch.
Good
I
going.
think.
Gary Hirsch. It's the same one, and that's the same one that did this. Gary
Yeah.
did this.
Russ, get a lock on you. It's bouncing around whoever's talking.
Do what?
You gotta lock the picture on you because it's bouncing around to whoever's talking.
Well,
Yeah, Russ, I just had to see Chris.
Lucky you.
was everybody shut up until I get through these.
Boy, that's a big screw.
I don't think we should go there.
Mhm. We'll be leaving that one alone.
that's what she said.
I thought that
You saw
I
that.
don't remember where the hell I'm at now. We already seen that one. Well, I'm going back through these top three, which is that one.
How many beers have you had?
None.
Well, that's your
I love that. That is so cool.
Yeah, this is so I haven't got any new ones from that. So I don't know who said that they sent something back.
Well, yeah, the
This one.
clock. The clock.
There you go.
Oh, wait, we hadn't seen that one before.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's-
That one just came through. I just clicked
Oh,
on it.
okay. Good job.
Wow, that's nice.
That's
A
nice.
lot of cutting.
Yeah, look at all those. Look at this little thing right in here.
Yeah,
Right.
that's
Just between the flower petals. Oh my God.
I'll
Right.
be breaking those off.
I mean, look at that.
I'm just. What kind of wood do you think that is?
It's probably
that looks like Baltic birch plywood.
yeah. It's the only thing strong enough to hold that together.
Yeah. But look at all these little tiny petals in there. I mean,
I've cut some stuff with that many holes before, but I've never used even Baltic birch. I use straight.
this is from
Dan Inge again?
Dan Inge. Yep,
Yep.
he did that one again. Dan,
Yeah.
you are just killer, dude.
no kidding.
Yeah. It was Gary that did Mom's Clock. You're welcome, Gary. I think I saw your message back then. That's why I brought it up.
Yep.
Awesomeness.
Hey, Russ,
Yes.
you were talking about the forum. I just checked. You logged into the forum the first time on April 19th, 2010.
So
So it's been 8 years. You posted 8,458 times.
Is that all?
8 years we've known each other.
Yeah.
8,000 posts. Step away from the keyboard.
So Dan Engie said he cut it on a backer board. Can somebody explain a backer board?
A backer board is behind the actual fretwork, and when you glue the fretwork to the backer board, it stabilizes the fretwork so it won't break.
But he says he cut that on a backer board.
No, he applied it to a backer
You
board.
applied it to the
Yeah.
back.
Gotcha.
8 years. Damn. I didn't know I knew your ugly ass that long.
Been that
Time
long.
flies when you're confused, Russ.
Yeah, I know.
One thing about those cuts too, though, what you talked about earlier, to stack cut those would actually be better and more
Yeah.
secure because you're getting a more secure lock
Yeah.
for the pieces.
Not to mention the fact that if you break off one of those little arms, at least 2 or 3 of those extra cuts will still be good.
Right.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
And also, if you're cutting something like that and it breaks, it's no big deal. Glue is magic.
Yep.
Glue fixes everything.
What glue do you use? I mean, I usually use crazy glue or CA glue.
I have a bucket full of glue. If you can think of it, I've got it.
Okay.
And
You use whatever needs to be done. I've glued for a long time when I was in this and I was doing stuff where people would ask me to make stuff. I would make stuff for them, and if I broke it, I would recut it totally all over. And then I got to realize, hold on, where I broke it at is so insignificant. There's no way in a million years they'll never able to figure out it's broken to begin with. And then with the glues that we have nowadays, like the tight bonds and all the other kind of stuff, when you glue back on, it's as good as the new one. So I started doing this, and I swear, I would tell them, I said, I made this for you. This is what you commissioned me to do. And I said, I broke it someplace. If you can find the break in this piece where I broke it, it's free. Because I know where it's broke. And if not, you just go ahead and pay me for the commission. And they went and they looked at it and said, it doesn't matter. I want it. So here's your money.
My problem is if I break a piece and it lands on the floor, my workshop's so dirty I can't find it.
Yep.
Thus the name Paul's Matthews Workshop.
Yep. No, but I tell them up front, I broke a piece off of this, and if you can find it, it's yours for free. You don't have to pay me.
When I go into the shop to cut one of my patterns, I'm usually in a really big hurry, obviously, because I'm doing it every night, right? And I've got to get it done in time to post it. So I break a lot of things because there's times when I'm pushing that blade through the wood way faster than it should be pushed through that wood. And I have two because everything I cut goes in a box and never gets seen again after I take a picture of it. I have two friends, glue and Photoshop. I didn't pick anything with one of those two.
You know, we still have 67 people out there watching.
Wow.
Hey, Steve, what's your go-to scroll saw in your shop right now? When you
and I want to know that too. Don't give me shit about the Jet, the ST21, the DeWalt, whatever. If you really had to sit down at a scroll saw and cut something for the rest of your life, which one would it be?
Don't care.
Really?
You put me in front of a scroll saw, I'm happy.
Well,
right now, the machine I use every day is the Seiko. It's the best. I have a DeWalt, the Jet, the Seiko, and the Excalibur. Those are the machines that I have left in my shop. I've gotten rid of everything else. Of those four machines, you could put me in front of any of the four of them. I'd be totally happy.
Yeah.
The Seiko is the best of those machines, but you're kind of, it's one of those things that to go from a mid-level machine to a high-level machine is not near as big a jump as going from an entry level to a mid-level. If you've got an entry-level machine and you go to like the Delta or the DeWalt, an entry-level machine, you're going to go, oh my gosh, why didn't I do this years ago? Because the jump is that big. To go from a DeWalt or a Delta to a Seiko or a Jet or one of these higher-priced machines, you don't get that same aha moment. You go, oh, this is a nice machine, but it doesn't really change what you do that much.
Right.
You know, they're all nice machines. So any of those machines, the Delta, the DeWalt, the Jet.
Oh, I love my ST21 for Seiko.
Yeah.
Steve, since I've gotten that and started using it, I can honestly tell you there's a big difference. I love the DeWalt 788. You could have preached me to the clouds. But when, what's his name?
Ray
sent me the ST21 and I put it together and started cutting on it. I was like, holy crap.
Well, that picture you showed a few minutes ago of that intricate flower pattern is easier. That's when you'll notice the difference in the Seiko over the DeWalt. Because you're not going to break that on the Seiko because it's such a delicate cutting machine.
Right.
The DeWalt, you got a much higher chance of breaking that pattern because it's a very aggressive cutting machine, and it all has to do with the forward to back movement of the blade.
Exactly.
On the DeWalt, that forward to back movement is one of the highest in the industry. Okay, you're going to cut fast on that machine whether you want to or not. Whereas on the Seiko, the Excalibur, the Jet, all those machines, that front to back movement can be adjusted to not perfectly straight up and down, but much closer. And because of that, you're taking a much smaller bite in the wood for every stroke that blade goes up and down, which makes it a much more delicate cutting machine. Now, you can still push those machines to a greater speed by pushing the wood through the blade harder. But when you do need to slow down to make those real delicate cuts, then you've got the ability to do it. So to be honest with you, I could sit down in front of any scroll saw and use them, but I've been doing this for 30 plus years. You know, I know that if I'm using the DeWalt, that I just need to, if I come to a real delicate section, you'll see me sometimes do things that when I'm teaching classes, people kind of cringe over, but to me, it's second nature. I'll have my two fingers within a millimeter of the blade.
Yes.
You know, and people get, oh, you're going to cut yourself. No, I'm not. Look, touch the blade. It's not going to cut me. You know, don't worry about it. You know, so I know that when I get to a delicate piece, if I need to stabilize that board, I just move my fingers in and stabilize it with my fingers until I get through that cut.
Yeah.
You know, and those are the things that you learn.
Exactly. I had an advanced scroll saw class up at Rockler, and they were saying, I was showing them how to, you need to stabilize this piece when you're cutting through it. You put your fingers right up here on it. And they were going like, what? And I'm like, it's not going to hurt you. Come on, give me a break. So,
and let's face it, you're not a real woodworker until you've nipped off the end of your finger.
Well, that's true.
You know, it's funny.
Steve, have you had a chance to scroll with that King, new King 30-inch or whatever they've got?
Not in my shop, only over at Woodcraft. And it's basically the Excalibur. The only problem with the King is they can't sell the 21-inch model here in the United States. And I talked to their marketing manager, that's been a few months back, and they're trying to get past that part of the contract. That they can't contractually sell the 21-inch machine here in the States. They can only sell the 16 and the 30 or whatever it is. And the 21-inch outsells those other two 10-to-1. So, you know, that's a bit of a problem.
Yeah, but
although the reality is a 16-inch saw is already big enough for most projects people do.
But the 21-inch is in conflict of the ST21.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not positive about that. I don't want to say right to that because I'm not absolutely certain that's true. But anyway.
But I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know we had a show about scroll saw repair, but Gary in the chat is asking that he's got a 788 DeWalt that he's experiencing noise with, and he's tried various fixes on YouTube. What suggestions can you guys give him?
That the suggestions are too long to talk about on this show. Tell him to email me.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah, because it can be numerous things on that. It depends on where the noise is coming from and the vibration coming from. If the noise coming from the front, it could be as simple as a bearing or the front clips to hold down the blade. So, yeah.
The DeWalt is notorious for having the bearings go bad. If you use them pretty hard, within about 2 years from new, you'll be needing new bearings. Now, I'm talking about if you're a full-time scroller. If you're only cutting on the weekends, you're not going to deal with that. But the bearings go bad in those machines frequently, and some of the bearings actually just move out of their socket, and they just need to be tapped back in.
And the reason they go bad so quick is because of lack of lubrication.
Yeah, they don't lubricate them anymore.
They don't lubricate them in the factory. If you brought your DeWalt 788 home, took it apart and greased all those bearings in the very beginning, put it back together, you probably wouldn't have any problem.
Yeah, you're looking at 10 years plus. And I have readers who take their new DeWalts because they're 4-time scrollers. They take their DeWalt and they actually ship them down to a friend of mine down in Atlanta who does repair, and he actually lubes the bearing for them before they ever take the machine out of the box. Because they know as a full-time scroller, they're going to wear it out. And the funny thing is, these full-time scrollers, they like the DeWalt because it's such a fast-cutting machine. So, you know, they could go out and buy the Seiko or some of these higher-priced machines, and they choose not to because for half the price they can get the DeWalt, and it's going to keep up with them. It's going to cut really fast.
Gwinnett Woodworkers did a really nice video on going in and doing the maintenance and greasing all the bearings, and explained why. He talks about what grease to use. I had posted a link on it.
Yeah, that's Bob Brokaw. He's kind of their go-to guy down there for fixing. He probably has repaired more DeWalt scroll saws than anybody else in the country. What you don't want to do when you have a DeWalt scroll saw is take it into one of their service centers, because those guys just don't ever get an opportunity to work on those machines, and they honestly don't know them very well. So unless you're just lucky that your local service area center has a guy that has worked on one, you're almost better off to try to do the maintenance yourself. And if you use that video that Bob puts out, you'll find out that most of what needs to be done, you can do yourself.
Yeah.
He's the scroll saw doctor. He's
Yeah.
the guy.
He is. That's with the Gwinnett Woodworkers, right?
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, he's with yeah. If this man is like the ultimate know-all and do-all with the DeWalt scroll saw. I've watched many of his videos, and I'm in awe as the amount of information he has learned and knows about the DeWalt scroll saw. He is.
Hey, I've actually got a picture with him and with Steve in the same picture.
Oh, really?
I do, in Atlanta.
Yeah. Yeah, Bob's a good guy.
He's a real good guy. All right, guys. I think it is about time that we close this out. Hell, it's 10 o'clock at night.
2 hours. Wow.
You know what I got to do, Russ? I got the UK Mississippi State football game recording in the background, so don't nobody sell the score.
So anyway, I think it's about time we call it a night. I appreciate y'all being out there.
All 68 of you.
Yeah. And we were in the 80s at one point, and we've got 57 thumbs up. Are you believing that? 57?
That's so cool.
I still want to know what are you drinking?
I'm not drinking anything.
I don't believe that.
I think your cold medication kicked in, Russ.
What the hell? What makes you think I'm not drinking anything?
You feeling too good, buddy.
Well, I'm feeling good, but I'm feeling the love from all of y'all.
I think it's drugs. He's found just the right sinus drug.
Yeah, maybe it's me. I don't know. Shit.
I get high with a little help from my friends.
Ooh, I get by with a little help from my friends.
I can honestly say, and I'll say this right now, I have never, ever in my entire life taking a drug that was not other than prescribed by my doctor. So, I've never. I worked for 30 years for the fire department. We did drug tests. So, I just never found that to be one of my
doctors prescribed for them.
Yeah, but my doctor, if he prescribed it for me, I would get high with a little help from my doctor.
Hey, Russ, I can honestly say here tonight that I can honestly not say that.
So anyway, let's get off this subject and let's go over here for just one moment, just for one moment, and say to Zara King, Liberty Woodworking, Berta Morton, Ken McCrory, Jeff Robinson. Oh, wow. These are some of the names I can't. Sebastian Holtry, Dennis Goodson, Jumbo. Gary. Umatilla Gary. Okay. You're really trying my efficiency. Jeff Robinson, Silvery Moon Crafts. Al, go ahead. Start calling them out.
Silvery Moon Crafts, Zara King, Inspired Woodworks.
Thank you.
Ashton Holtry, Jimbo, 5312, Aussie Man, 77181. Liberty Woodworking, Umatila Gary. Silver Moon, Buster Scott, Chipped Builds, Zara King, Berta Moreton, Jimbo 5312, Dennis Goodson, Odessa Woodworking and Maker Shop. Who the hell let them in? Zara King,
You can't get rid of that guy.
Aussie Man 77181, Berta, Liberty, Ken McCory, Dennis Goodson, Dixon Hoffman, Dennis.
Ken McCory, that's my neighbor. Hey,
Ken McCrory,
Kim
That's
was
my
great.
neighbor.
So,
Neighbor.
Iron Woodworks.
so
Repeating.
thank you, every one of you who have been in the chat. This show wouldn't go on from week to week without your support, and I mean that. What I'm saying is, I look over there in the chat, and when I see the amount of people watching this show, and it's not all about me, it's about Chris Ahern, John Schaffner, Katie Dotson, Al Forte, Paul, all these people that are on the panel.
Whatever his name is.
Yeah, Ken Moon. Ken Moon's been here before. All these people that are on the panel from week to week. I know it's not just about me. You come here to see them also. And trust me, I'm here to be with them also every week from week to week. So this show isn't about me. It's not necessarily about them. It's not necessarily about y'all. It's about all of us. That y'all like what you're seeing. We enjoy what we're doing. And I'd just like to say thank you so very much for coming here from week to week. There's only one thing that we need to do, and that is just give me sawdust, lots of sawdust all around me and everywhere. I like it flying all around my shop and even in my beard and hair. Good night, everybody.
Hi,
Thank you
everyone.
for watching.
Night, people.
And God bless.
Remember,
Great.
you don't have to go home, but you cannot stay here. Or you can.